today we are taking up lecture number 4 on photosynthesis. So this entire topic of photosynthesis will be divided into 3 parts. This is the first video of those 3 parts. To begin with, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants can trap sunlight, carbon dioxide, and they combine with water to form carbohydrates. And oxygen is a byproduct of this process. On this slide, you can see the overall reaction of photosynthesis. So 6 CO2 molecule, 6 water molecule and energy from sunlight together is used to form 1 molecule of 6 carbon carbohydrate and 6 molecule of oxygen is evolved in this process. So the next obvious question is, where does photosynthesis occur in the plant? So photosynthesis occurs in the green aerial parts of the plant. Mostly leaves, green stems, floral buds. So in those green parts of the plant, we have specialized cells called mesophyll cells. And inside these mesophyll cells, the chloroplast contains chlorophyll molecules or photosystems in the thylakoid membrane, granulamella and the stromal lamella. So these are the actual sites of photosynthesis. Moving ahead, students, whatever knowledge we have on the topic of photosynthesis has been a result of 30 years of experiments done by various scientists. Among those scientists, one of the prominent ones was Emerson and Carlton Lewis. Their experiment is very important in the aspect of understanding photosynthesis. So what was their experiment? They irradiated alga. Their experimental organism was Chlorella alga. Now when this light of various wavelength falls on this Chlorella alga, it does photosynthesis. So Emerson and Lewis, they measured rate of photosynthesis at various wavelengths. And their observation included 2 prominent points. That out of the visible light, red light and far red light, these were the 2 wavelengths at which rate of photosynthesis was quite high. Here you need to understand that red light means 680 nm, far red light is 700 nm. So if you look at this particular graph, you can see here at 680 nm ROP was this. ROP is rate of photosynthesis. At 700 nm, the far red light, the rate of photosynthesis was high, but it was lesser than what it was on 680 nm. Then they modified their experiment. And what they did? Second time, they combined the 2 lights, 680 nm plus 700 nm. And then they measured photosynthesis done by Chlorella alga. And what they observed? That the combined effect on photosynthesis, the rate of photosynthesis was much higher than the rate of photosynthesis taken at individual wavelengths. So this phenomena is known as immersion enhancement effect. So what do we conclude from this experiment? That there are 2 distinct systems operating in plants, one which absorbs light in the red region, the other system absorbs light in the far red region. And both of them independently can affect photosynthesis, but efficient photosynthesis occurs when both the lights are combined together. This particular understanding has increased our understanding of the photosynthesis process. We'll see in our later slides. So we now know that photosynthetic pigments harvest energy from sunlight. Plants have specially arranged pigments and protein complexes. Together, these pigment protein complexes are responsible for harvesting sunlight. These complexes are termed as light harvesting complexes or LHC. Now we have two types of LHC. The first LHC is known as photosystem 1, which absorbs light of far red region, that is 700 nm. The second system is LHC 680 that absorbs red light and is known as photosystem 2. Now this photosystem 1 and 2, you must be wondering that how they have been labeled. So you need to understand that photosystem 1 and 2, these numbering merely refers the order of their discovery. It has nothing to do with their functional aspect. It doesn't mean that photosystem 1 gets activated first and then the photosystem 2 gets activated. No, it's not that way. 1 and 2 merely represents or merely states that photosystem 1 was discovered first, therefore it was named 1, and LHC 680 was discovered after photosystem 1, therefore it was labeled as photosystem 2. Now, whether it is photosystem 1 or 2, both have pigment plus protein complexes and a reaction center. So, light harvesting complexes have two important components, the antenna pigments and the second one is the reaction center pigments. Now, antenna pigments, the role is to trap sunlight from the visible range. So, we have, if you see on the slide, this illustration represents the two pigment systems. The first one represents the photosystem 2. Let me take the pointer. So, here it is. This one is photosystem 2. Photosystem 2, the antenna pigments are carotenoids, even xanthophylls, chlorophyll B and chlorophyll A. The reaction center contains a pair of chlorophyll A that can be excited at 680 nm. So, the function of antenna pigments is to trap sunlight of the yellow-orange range and the red region, and trapping that sunlight, the photons received from the sunlight is used to excite the electrons, and that electron falls to the intermittent electron carrier and finally to the reaction center pigment 680. Once the pigment system 680 is activated, it donates electron to the primary acceptor. More of this will come in the slides ahead. Apart from P680, we also have photosystem 1 that is represented by P700. Photosystem 1 is different from photosystem 2 in having antenna pigments of chlorophyll B, chlorophyll A mostly. So you can clearly see here carotenoids and xanthophylls are not part of photosystem 1. Maybe carotenoids may be present in few molecules, but xanthophylls are absolutely absent. So photosystem 1 reaction center contains again chlorophyll A molecule that will be excited by 700 nm light. And mainly these two photosystems are responsible for trapping the sunlight. The role of antenna pigment is to trap sunlight, and those light will be trapped in the form of photons. The energy of the photon will excite the electrons in the reaction center pigments, and this excited reaction center pigment will donate electron to the primary electron acceptor. So this is how it traps light, becomes excited, and the electrons at the reaction center from the reaction center is. Let us now compare photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. The first point is reaction center. So photosystem 1 reaction center is known as P700, where P stands for pigment. So reaction center is known as P700 or pigment 700 that absorbs 700 nm light. Photosystem 2, the reaction center is pigment 680 and it absorbs the peak absorption. It shows peak absorption at 680 nm. Then if you compare electron acceptor of PS1 and PS2, both of the electron acceptors are different. So PS1 electron acceptor is iron sulfur protein ferredoxin, whereas PS2 electron acceptor is pheophytin, which is a mode of modified chlorophyll A that lacks magnesium ion. Then comes electron carriers. Photosystem 1 electron carriers are plastocyanine, ferredoxin and cytochrome, whereas photosystem 2 electron carriers are pheophytin, plastoquinone and cytochromes. There is difference with respect to evolution of oxygen. That means oxygen is not given away by both the photosystems. It's only photosystem 2 where splitting of water is involved and that releases oxygen. Photosystem 1 does not involve photolysis or water is not splitted and therefore oxygen is not evolved. So these are the major difference between photosystem 1 and 2. Now let us move on to two types of photosynthesis. Yes, we do have two types of photosynthesis occurring inside the plant cell. One is known as oxygenic photosynthesis. So as the name suggests, this type of photosynthesis involves oxygen. The electron donor is water because here the photolysis of water will result in the formation of oxygen. So oxygen is evolved as a byproduct of oxygenic photosynthesis. Examples are plants, algae, cyanobacteria. All these types of cells, they perform oxygenic photosynthesis. And the mechanism involves both photosystem 1 and 2 to generate ATP NADPH, ultimately converting carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates with the evolution of oxygen. So, oxygenic photosynthesis results in the formation of carbohydrate, ATP, NADPH, and it also produces oxygen as a byproduct. Whereas, the second type of photosynthesis known as anoxygenic photosynthesis. अब इसके नाम से ही हमें पता चल जाता है कि here evolution of oxygen does not occur. Here the electron donors are substances like hydrogen sulfide, sulfur or hydrogen. Water is not the electron donor, therefore no photolysis of water occurs in anoxygenic photosynthesis. Since photolysis of water is absent, therefore no oxygen is produced. Example, purple bacteria, green sulfur bacteria, they do anoxygenic photosynthesis. And the mechanism involves only single photosystem, that is PS1. It can involve cyclic or non-cyclic electron flow to produce ATP and reducing power for carbon fixation. But remember, no oxygen is produced. So that's all about in photosystem 1 and 2. So from this lecture, we understood how light energy is trapped by light harvesting complex of photosystem 1 and 2, how these photosystems differ from each other, and because of the involvement of these two photosystems, we can have anoxygenic photosynthesis or oxygenic photosynthesis. In our next lecture, we will deal with how photosynthesis occurs, namely light reaction of photosynthesis. So, thank you for listening to this.